Alright, I do believe I am on. Still want to confirm though. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I am live. Okay, cool. So it says I am. Alright, we are back with Sunless Sea. It looks like we just left off at checking in with the alarming scholar. Let's see if we can remember where we left up. Ooh, I have the clattery air, so I definitely want to work through her mission as quickly as possible. She's going to give me a boat at the end, which is an awesome boat. I really want that. The tireless mechanic. It's either him or somebody else who I just found out if I go through the whole storyline, I can get an engine, a pretty good engine, and those are quite expensive. So it'd be very nice to get an engine without having to pay a couple thousand echoes, or even 1,000 echoes would be quite a bit. I have the Longshanks gunner. I think she's pretty boring, but I'm gonna drop her off at Khan's Shadow once I get there. I can't remember what I needed for that, but I'll have to find out when I go out. What's going on with the alarming scholar? Is there anything in particular I wanted to do here? Oh, I do believe I was going to kind of like sell these mostly just to make money, so let's warm up with an introduction to the alarming scholar. The alarming scholar is mercurial, to say the least. A creature of sudden moods and provoking teeth. Possibly her, is it her? Appointment as University Maritime Liaison was precautionary to keep his, is it his, razor sharp enthusiasm from causing too many injuries in the faculty. Ah, yes, the scholar whispers breathily. I have a budget for acquisitions. What have you brought me? So I can sell some of the different types of stories I pick up along the way, and I can hover over this icon to see how many I have. So one memory, one Z story. I want my Z stories because I'm saving up 5 so I can buy Muter Salt. That's part of the main storyline for this run, at least. I have a lamentable relic. Well, I have 3 of them. I'll definitely sell one of those. Not a scientific curiosity necessarily, but the scholar has a collection or something. A beaming smile. This would be so terribly wasted in an ossuary. He buffs the cranium with a sleeve. I think a climbing briar rose will suit this one rather well. A yellow rose, perhaps. Thank you so much. Let's keep this between ourselves. 5 echoes. Lame. Oh, favors are up, and which will lead to other gifts, but wow, that was mega lame. Ambiguous aeolith. I have 3. Let's see how much I get for this. Some of these things were made as tools. Some just look that way. A relic. Oh, I see the nap marks clearly. I rather think it was no human hand that shaped this either. Something from before. Or at least I like to think it. And that's what's most important. All right, I'll take 70 echoes. That's a bit better. Maybe we'll sell one more. I also haven't run into a lot of uses for ambiguous aeoliths, so if it makes me money for now, I'll take it. 1 echo for the second one. Boo. Okay, so you don't exactly get it every time. Is that like a percentage thing? Now I have to sell the third one. It's 1 echo again. Hmm. This is the product of nature, not artifice. Interesting, nevertheless. I have the very shelf for it. But if you could bring me something worked, not evolved, next time. So, the alarming scholar does not like more than 1 ambiguous aeolith. Good to know. And a bit of a bummer. Although I don't know I would have gotten more echoes out of that anyways for right now. Okay, so let's leave the university. Let's see what else we got. The rose market's interesting. And I can't do this, so I'll do the rose market. It bustles on Rose's wharf. Perhaps you can find a buyer for some of the curiosities you found at Z. So usually there's a couple different sellers here, or buyers rather, that collect different things. This one collects Sooth and Cooper long box, but I want that for Station 3. Live specimens, but those cost 500 echoes, and I don't know how many echoes this person's gonna give me. And then you can just escort somebody. This changes out the people who are here, I believe, if you just don't think you're ever going to get those items. I haven't utilized this enough, so maybe I'll try to utilize that a bit more. What does the venturer want? Ooh, let me just double back for anybody who hasn't seen the previous videos. So the main story arc of this run, and this is a rogue game, so you play through, you die, you play through, you die, you play through, you die. That's what I mean by this run. In this run, the main story arc is your father's bones. And in order to get this guy Slivy to talk, we need to get him some muter salts. And currently, the only place I can get muter salt is at Wither, which I'll show you that on the map in a minute. If I close this and open it again, it takes some of my supplies, and I can't open the map without closing this. So I'll show you where Wither is later, but I need 5 Z stories to get that muter salt. I can always pick up a Z story at this little boat in the water on my way to and from, provided I have recent news. I know, there's a lot of different items here, but the more you watch, the more familiar you'll become with these things. This is a key feature of rogue games. They just throw you in the deep end. You've got to kind of figure it out. And it's a big part of the reason I was excited to kind of live stream this game, because it's hard to figure these things out on your own. And I believe it turns a lot of people off from these games, but they're really a lot of fun. Alright, moving right along. Let's hit the submarine tutorial. If you've been watching the previous videos, you know I've kind of avoided this, but it is time. How to use your submarine. How does it work? This tutorial branch will tell you how to make the most of your submarine. Probably should have looked at that the first time I got a submarine, but I didn't. So let's go here. How to acquire a submarine. Her Majesty's Admiralty has sworn off submarine exploration. However, you've heard tales of unofficial research into submarine travel being conducted in her distant colony. So this is going to tell me how to get my submarine. Travel to the southern coast and follow it east to find Port Carnelian. There you will learn how to convert your ship into a submarine. Be sure you're prepared for the journey. So I know where Port Carnelian usually is. I don't think it ever moves, but I haven't played through enough to be certain of that. The map does tend to change. This is another feature of Rogues. Every playthrough, the map is a little bit different. In this game, the borders, the ports on the outside, those seem to be relatively consistent. So I have a good idea as to where Port Carnelian is. I also happen to know that at some point along the Clattery Heir's journey, we're going to reach Port Carnelian. And now that I'm following her storyline, it'll be good for you all to know that I'm going to pick up the submarine over there. It'll be a mission. We're going to get there. But yeah, that's coming. And the submarine is actually really cool. It's a whole nother element to the game. Okay, continue. Let's check out London. I don't know if I turned in all my port reports yet. And I always just like to double check. Let's see, my hull. I will have to fix that. I could get a tattoo, but we're not going to do that yet. Alright, port reports. What do we got for you, bud? Nothing. Okay, then I must have done that already. Let's go to the dry dock. I'll fix up my ship. I have tons of fuel, but I could trade in favors for fuel. This is a little tricky to understand. It says it's unlocked with favors. Admiralty's favor, 4. And I have 14. But it still seems to only take 1. Watch. So I have 14 now. I had success, which just means I get... should be getting 3 fuel. I still don't fully understand the difference between a... Oh, I failed it. That's why I got 2. So if you succeed in the Hearts Challenge, you get 3 fuel. If you fail in the Hearts Challenge, you get 2 fuel. The higher your hearts are, the better your probability. But, there's never a probability of 0, so it's always worth a try. And I lost only 1 favor to get the fuel. I just seem to have a base of 4 favors for some reason. Now what I'm going to do is repair my ship. My hull was at 75, now it's at 56. And I can do that at Admiralty Yards. This costs far less, only 25 echoes, whereas these other ones are like at least 100 echoes. And it does cost me 3 favors, but I have plenty of favors, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, the amount of hull you have in this ship is really low. It's really easy to die, and if you die on this, if you die on you have to start over. There's no way around it. Alright, so I'm fixed up. Let's see if there's anything else. What does the Venturer want me to get? Hunting trophies and Scintillac. Where do I get Scintillac? I think it's Port Cecil, the chess place. But I need my stats higher so I can succeed at some of those challenges. Sorry, just thinking out loud on that. But Scintillac would probably be easier to acquire than 7 hunting trophies. And only 500 echoes for 7? Ugh. Maybe if I find an interesting store where I can get them, but we shall see. What else? I always forget I have this over here too. This is very useful on the computer front. I'm just used to playing with the Switch. Let's see. I'd like to get a visit to that. I don't know if I have recent news, and I need recent news. Oh, I do. Okay, good. That's good. And let's get back to my lodgings. How's my terror? It's not bad. That's 10 echoes, and it'll get me what? 1 terror reduced. And a restful night. Restful nights are good to have. They help out when you get a lot of terror. It gets pretty creepy when you get a lot of terror. I really do want the elegant townhouse, because that'll carry on to the next rounds too. But I have to buy supplies first, and I don't think that's going to leave much room for the townhouse. Yeah, let's go big. Let's check in with the Clattery Air. This is another thing. I can access the speak menu just from here on the Switch. I always have to toggle over to the officers, which is such a pain. Let's see. She works with 2 scalpels. Her father. What's next? Oh, I need a strange catch. And then I'll need a live specimen. I just happen to know that from previous playthroughs. Not going to proposition the Clattery Air. I'm pretty sure I already have a sweetheart in London. Just, oh, I was going to look for something. I forgot what it was. Let's see. Oh, yes. I would like to get... Let me make sure I don't have a live specimen first. I don't. So I'm going to spend the 500 on the live specimen because it is well worth it to start pushing through. Oh, shoot. I don't even have the thing that offers the live specimen. I'm so used to it being available, but it hasn't showed up yet. Hasn't showed up yet. I can visit the tattoo parlor. This guy ups different attributes, which I could use to start. I'm not spending a Z story. And I don't have a Tale of Terror. See, I could do Memory of a Distant Shore. That would up my mirrors, which would be nice. But this also cures a lot of terror, so I'm going to save this for later. And I am good. This is so weird. The supplies update, but the fuel doesn't until I close the Gazette. Very strange. Alright, let's take a look at the map. Now, I need a strange catch. And I know that I can get it at the city of Irem, which is over here. Ooh, I'll bet the Admiralty wants me to look for a certain city. So I'll have to look that up. I found Port Cecil. I'll need to find Khan's Shadow, but it's probably somewhere around here. And the salt lions are still my best resource for getting fuel. So let's go wide. I think I gotta go to the Frostbound. So I'll go wide through here, actually. That'll be good. And I'll stop off at Hunter's Keep too. That is always useful. Alright, let's just check what the Admiralty wants. Can I keep an eye on that? Okay, so it didn't cost me any supplies. Will he tell me what he wants, or do I have to look for it in the journal? I do hate the journal. Okay, because I see this, please don't send me to bloody Frostfound. I know that I still need to go to Frostfound, which I thought I did last time, but apparently it didn't register or whatever, so away we go. I'll be checking in on the chat whenever I leave port, just in case anybody wants to say hey. A hump of dark rock, swathed in mist, like 100 other Untersea islands. But here's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush. In the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's side. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. So they won't visit me, or they won't have lunch with me until I bring them news. I can reconnoiter the island for a port report. Always gotta get that port report. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes. Even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. Okay, so I'll still get a little credit for that port report. I don't want to spend my news, because I'm trying to pick up Z stories, and I need to pay recent news to get Z stories. My next big focus is doing this. I need to get a Clayman. Oh, I have to have one of each of the stories. And a mirror catch box. Those are the two major things. I assume I'll pick up these stories along the way, so I'm not worried about that. But I can create something through this little side story, I guess you could call it, that I can sell later on for money. So I'll plan for that. And that's it. Yeah, let's go through this black area to start clearing that. Hmm, this is cute. Don't you dare forget me. You stand on the bridge with the likely lass's locket in your hand. I will keep it. It's a risk for both of you. Shore-bound lovers grow lonely, and sea captains die young. Sure. Close your hand over the locket. The sea is cold, but the heat of your blood has warmed the metal of the locket. Keep it close. You're right, cool. Ooh, I think this is the Abbey. Regardless, it's a new port, and when you're first exploring the chart, new ports, the port reports from new places pay out more and continue to give favors. Eventually, you stop getting paid for port reports from the same places, and you stop getting favors. I don't want to deal with you. Let me just jump into the port real quick. Got it. Abbey Rock, a black spit of an island far from anywhere anyone would want to go. And that's how the Sisterhood likes it. Here stands their fortress convent. There are bear traps that look friendlier than this. So I can trade supplies. I've never done this. I guess if you're just like in desperate need of echoes and you have a bunch of extra supplies, you could do this. But I've never been in that situation. Let's get my port report. As always, nothing is happening. The sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on the rocks, withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of a century. The greatest peril you risk here is a certain purpleness of prose. Alright, got my port report. So I can knock on the gate, but I need to spend my recent news, and I don't want to do that. I think that like reduces my terror or something. Oh no, this reduces terror. This I can spend hunting trophies to reduce terror, which in some cases that is really useful. I am going to search the surroundings because it's my first visit here. You can't be the first to come here. Ooh, that's funny. So I just gained a bunch of fuels and supplies, which is such a bummer because it put me over my total cargo hold. So I'm going to have to drop some cargo. I'll drop one fuel and one supply. Still, that's nice. That is not cheap. Ooh, I got strategic information. I wonder if the Admiral will want that. And torpedo components. Those become useful later. A catch. You follow tracks into a sea cave. Someone has stored food, supplies, ammunition. It can't be the nuns. These crates have a carnate look. The Admiralty will want to know about this. That's why it's strategic information. Cool. Don't want to trade. Don't want to do that. Let's watch the convent. This will be creepy. Wait a while and see. Dangerous training. Like huge and deadly herons, the sisters stalk along the very top of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. One of them just turned a somersault. Relatively agile sisters. Okay. And that's it. I always like to check the shop, but they don't sell anything. Moving right along. I will take the extra supplies and fuel. That is always nice to get when you're out at sea. I will have to work through those supplies and fuels so I have enough space for the salt stone. I think that's what it's called. That'll get at the salt mines. It's always a major issue with the salt mines. They make good income, but you have to have the space in your cargo hold. Ah, here's Shepherd's Isle. That always seems to be pretty close to the Abbey. Shepherd's Isle. Course. the bearded watchman tells you. There are no actual shepherds on the Shepherd Isles. Sheep are mostly illegal here. No, indeed, it's just the name of the gentleman that found the islands. Greybeard, sitting in the village square, nods solemnly. No sheep, one says, but plenty of tales. Ask us anything. Let's get a report. Oh, yes, my. Hmm. Oh, yes, yes, my, yes. There's been goings on. In the bleak light of the false stars, surface roiling like a porridge pot, up with a roar of stream of steam and flash of fire. 3 windows swimming, tentacles, and then we saw His Highness. There is rather a lot of this material. Alright, terrific. Got the port report. Let's get this guy. Engage an officer, the sigil-ridden navigator. His story is quite interesting, and I really have mostly glossed through it. I'm excited to read it a bit more carefully. Let me guide your ship. I know all the Z. How it was, how it will be. Please, the headaches only stop when I'm working. This guy is very troubled. He is a navigator. We're going to grab him. He's only 50 echoes. Nice. And he's going to up my mirrors and veils. Relief. Thank you. The nonsense here was a distraction for a while, but only the Z can help me now. Oh my God, the air, it's clear already. Let me chart a course for you. Ah, my head. He's quite troubled, so we're going to have a lot of fun going through his story. Let's check him out. Officers. Let's assign him. I don't remember getting her. Okay, we'll get back to her, but let's check in with the sigil-ridden navigator. I got tons of supplies. I'm totally going to invite him to eat with me because that's going to move on his story. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be heading close to the next point in his story. So he has an admirable appetite for so slight a fellow. Forgetfulness, seconds, then thirds, disappear in small, hasty morsels. He is nervous and not a gifted conversationalist. You do your best to plug the silence. When you ask about his past, he winces. I can't say, Captain. He taps the livid sigil on his temple, which twitches like a scorpion's sting. Has burned away my memories. I recall I have a brother, but not his name or where he is. I remember the names of the ships I've served on, the Implicit, the Bonnie Swan, but not their crew. How did he come by the sigil? He clutches his head. I don't know. Thinking about it is like fire in my skull. He grits his teeth. Someone must have hated me very much to curse me with it. But I can't even remember my enemy. So we've got to keep speaking to him to keep pushing his story forward. Let's see what we have available next. Okay. Captain. My sleep is riddled with dreams, Captain. Dreams of bells and candles. A destination. He paces the deck. I see a lonely house lit by tallow and wick. A bell is ringing. It rings now. Do you hear it? He scratches at his sigil, which has begun to bleed. Do you know this place, Captain? Can I plot a course? A place of candles and bells. The Chapel of Lights, a northern church where no sin is too terrible. So we've got to take him to the Chapel of Lights next, which is in the north. So that's perfect. There's nothing more I can do here now. Any shops? Ooh, you can buy fuel and supplies here. It's a bit more expensive, but always good to know where you can get things like that. Let's see if we can sneak past this dude. I don't feel like fighting with him. And there's the Chapel of Lights, so we're going to go straight north anyways. I'm gonna go on the inside of this island because I see those ships over there. I'll put my lights back on. You see, there's like a ticker here. When the lights are off, it starts turning red. And then if it ticks all the way around, you start developing terror. Yeah, you see the red going on there, and it's wrapping around, and then the terror goes up and it starts over again. So you try to keep your light on as much as possible. Well, let's clear some of that black space. I'm pretty close to Chapel of Lights already. And I just like clearing out the map. Oof, that thing is really bad, and I'm just going to run, and I should be able to make it to the port before it attacks me. Ugh, I've actually never killed that thing yet. Here we go. Chapel of Lights. Do you hear music? Furtive faithful gather in the shadows between the many, many candles. A bell tolls in the chapel tower. Cracked iron laughter. Beware, the aisle is full of voices. Eat of the chapel's bounty. A smiling priest unlocks the door of the storehouse for you. Here, he says, eat, but take nothing away with you. So this will eliminate my hunger, but I don't get extra supplies, usually. Rich and red. They have shark steaks plucked from the sea, thin slices of cavern tuna, translucent and delicate as paper. Little crimson cakes flavored with cinnamon and coated with poppy seeds. Tomatoes, impossibly ripe and sweet so far from the surface. Gorge yourself. Leave with the juices dripping from your chin. And I lost 10 hunger. I'll take it. So, this is interesting. Check this out. Give a nightmare to the well. The well drinks color, smiling priest whispers. The well drinks dreams, and the well is always thirsty. So this will reduce your nightmare's strength, but also scar you permanently and increase your wounds by 1. 3 wounds will kill you. So as you develop terror, if you get back to London with more than 50 terror, you start developing nightmares. And then if you keep doing that, the nightmares gain strength. There's a way that you can max up your nightmare strength and like steer into it. I've never tried that. Maybe I'll try that here just for fun. But usually I just eliminate the nightmares. This is another way to do that if you really need it. But you need uncountably peckish, which is... we'll get there. And nightmare menaces. The other thing is the wounds. Wounds are something to be very careful about. If you hit 3 wounds, you die. I did that one time. It was instant death, and it sucked because I just wasn't expecting to have to restart. Let's gather intelligence. This is our port report. A smiling priest in a red cassock tends the chapel. The congregation are shy of light. They come and go in little ships, and it's strangely difficult to count them. Perhaps some of them are imaginary. Still, you know the name of a ship or two. And that's the port report. This is the interesting piece. Your sigil-ridden navigator races toward the chapel. This is the place! Hark, the bells! You give chase. Within the air is heavy and hushed. A consultation in the chapel. You enter to see your navigator shaking a smiling priest by the collar. It led me here. Tell me what it means. Look at it. Look at it. The priest disentangles himself as politely as possible. I'm sure we can find a path to put you on, my friend. He examines the sigil with the professional air of a collector. But we will need your help in return. Pay a price. What would this cost? A live specimen, 2 live specimen. Which if I pay that price, it's like 1,000. Ugh, 1,000 echoes. I really don't want to do that, so I have to pay another price, which is becoming uncountably peckish. We will get there. So I can't complete this until I get one of those two, and I'll probably get uncountably peckish. I can attend this service at the chapel, but I think I did it once and like the payout wasn't great. It cost 5 supplies, so I'm definitely gonna skip that. Let's see if the shops have anything. Nope. Let's carry on. Now, I want to go to Frostfound next. Let's swing wide a bit to clear some of that black space. I don't think I have to mention this, but just in case, this is bad. You don't want to get stuck in the vortex. I think even on the edges, it just kind of slows down your speed. I don't think it's instant kill, but I'll bet it's a real pain and a real burn of fuel and supplies if you do get stuck in there. Looks like he's headed towards it, especially if he turns to try to get me. Unless he turns in the other direction. Let's see what we can do here. I think I'll just push past him. Like 2 ships passing in the night. Lovely. Coming back around. Okay, I'm clear. Frost found. Yeah, I cleared a little bit of space. So I'm supposed to get the information the Admiralty is looking for here. This has happened before, though, where I go and I think I collect it, but I don't. Frost found towers and ramps and galleries and stairs of ice, raised and spun like an architect's honey dream. No spider ever wove so complex a web. The towers are utterly pristine, untouched by human life. But a pitiable encampment squats by the dock. Take tea with the squatters at the dock? Yes, please. Some of them wear the robes of Iremi riddle fishers. Some look like withern folk, but even more ragged. They do seem a little more practical than either of those peoples. I forgot to show you where Wither is. I'll do that when I drop out of this, if I remember. A surprisingly warm welcome. We're keeping the steps for the game of truths, a helpful riddle fisher explains as she fills your cup for the 3rd time. Every year the people of Arem and Wither meet here for, she pauses, contests. She finished vaguely, the difference between a question and a riddle. One day someone will prove themselves enough to enter the castle. You spend a few pleasant hours while the tea is supplemented with Aremi liqueur. Aremi liqueur's pale withern beer and something the riddle fisher describes blandly as snake cake. They offer you fuel and supplies before you leave. We keep enough to spare, the riddle fisher grins. From time to time a captain gets lost and comes up here, and we always feel bad for them. Alright, so I get another supply, I get a fuel, and I lost 10 terror. That's nice. Enter the frost found. Yeah, I need more mirrors, and this is really sketchy. I've only done it a few times. Ooh, speak to my Remy. I bet I didn't pass the challenge. I think I need more mirrors or something. Let's go. Let's see, did I pass it? I did! Goody. Okay. Speak to your Remy contact. A riddle fisher is wearing the blue and red scarf that marks him as a contact. It would be a riddle fisher. What are the odds he'll give you a straight answer? When will the towers topple? The riddle fisher shares a series of linked riddles with you. You identify the linking factor. It's a prediction about who will win the contest between questions and riddles next year. Perhaps the Admiralty will find it useful. It's the closest thing to information about the balance of power this far north. Alright, so I succeeded in the mirrors challenge, even though I had like a 37% chance, and this was only my second time giving it a go. These are the places where those percentages feel a little muddy to me. Like, I would guess that because this is more important for progressing the storyline, they're giving some sort of cushion, but it just makes it hard for me to calculate when a risk is worth it and when it is not. And frankly, I land on it's always worth it to give it a try. Okay, so I got that for the Admiralty. And then we'll get a port report too, because I get double paid for that. Not all are rummy or withern. There's the odd researcher, the occasional deranged ice sculptor, now and then a very cold, very sad, rubbery man, but for the most part, an atmosphere of friendly rivalry reigns. What a nice frozen tundra. Nothing to buy, nothing to find from my people. I'm going to go up and around to clear this space, and there's also a port called the Avid Horizon, which I know will become important at some point, and it's all the way north. I had a lot of trouble finding it on my last playthrough, so I'm going to look for it. Yeah, so that's about as far north as I can get. So I'll just follow this until I reach Mount Palmerston. Doing good on supplies. I don't like this. This slows me down. Alright, here comes Port Palmerston. Ooh, I don't want to run into him. There's a Khanate ship. I actually want to try to gain the favor of the Khans this time. I think I can sneak in behind him. Yeah, I got that. Mm, I am gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. I'm back just messing with my wire. Got all tied up. Alright, all good. Mount Palmerston. No, I don't think I'll go up to the crater. Sullen lights glow green at the jetty's edge. Behind the port buildings, the island is knee-deep in ash. There are ruins here and there of houses destroyed by fire. Far above, the mountain's top flickers red, just for an instant. Explore the island. Tangles of thorned scrub climb the rocky slopes of the volcano. Should get me my port report, I think. Ooh, or it'll get me in trouble. At the heart of a salty little bog, you come upon a pulsing mound of ptarmigans. They are a rich dark purple like viscera, perhaps, or blackberries. They chitter as they swarm. The sound is like pebbles on a beach. Be careful. A single ptarmigan a single ptarmigan is a nuisance. 100 are a calamity. I could assault the colony, which would be a tough challenge. Or I could observe the colony, also a tough challenge, but I get 40% out of mirrors, get 38% out of iron. It's not a big difference, but I actually find the Blemigans very entertaining, and I really want to propagate them a whole bunch, so we're going to give this a go. Mildly diverting. There's some sort of purple mushroom. Unlike most purple mushrooms, they have tentacles and fangs, and they run around a lot. That's as much as you get. Perhaps your mind's not in it. Let's give this another try, because I should be able to just try it again. No, I can't. Bummer. Engage an officer, the merciless, modest. I don't think I've ever gotten this officer because I need the parabola linen. Maybe I'll try to save up for that. We'll chat with the port folk about the Brimstone Convention. There was a revolution in hell, and the aristocracy of devils fled here. Here they plot an exile. A shrug and a curse. They don't do us any harm. They stay up there, and we stay down here. If hell's fighting itself, that's good for us all, isn't it? That gets me my port report, and that is a good port report to have. I could dig among the ruins, but it costs supplies. I just don't like doing that. Yeah, I'm not going to. Perhaps not. Let's check out the shops. You see, I can't go up to the crater anymore. You have to do that first, I believe. Yeah, they have good supplies here. Good prices, too, especially on fuel. But I'm still quite good on supplies and fuel. I don't have a lot of cargo space. Let's do just 2 supplies, and I'll do 4 fuel. Leave a little space in case someone else wants to give me a gift. Okay, I know Irem is going to be in the corner. And since I didn't find the Avid Horizons on that journey, I'm guessing that it's closer over here. Ooh, and I remembered. This is Wither. This is where I'm going to buy the Muter Salt. Once I have 5 Z stories. I only have 3. Unless I pick up one somewhere randomly, which happens sometimes, I'm going to have to go through this little boat, spend my recent news, get my Z stories 2 times. Okay. I don't want to run into this guy. So I'll let him move for a little bit, because nothing's ticking down right now, and now I'll go. I'll turn off, see if I can go underneath him before he turns around. Looking good. That was odd. Oh, is it him? It's okay, he can't catch me. It is him. I saw the question mark. Irem. I like Irem. Very interesting store item. You usually want to sound the all clear as soon as possible. Assume if you don't, it causes the terror to go up, but I'm not 100% on that. Irem. None have ever spoken truthfully of this place. Orem, the pillared city, she will rise from the sea in the ice-like dawn. She will be garlanded with red and decked with gold. The seven serpent will watch you longingly from its high pedestal. You will always arrive as a stranger, but when you leave, some part of you will always remain. I'm always so focused on the shops when I get to a REM because they just have the best supplies and you can buy things with secrets, which is very different. Um, I have to figure out how many secrets I have because those are really useful for other things. They have the Sooth and Cooper long box, about the only place I can think of that has it. I know there's another where you can buy them with echoes, but I haven't found it in quite some time. And then the mirror catch box. This is very useful for building money through the tireless mechanic at Hunter's Keep. And it's nice to buy it in secrets because then it turns into echoes. Again, you can buy the mirror catch box somewhere, but it costs quite a few echoes. Judgment's Egg. It's too expensive. I've never bought it here, but I guess I could. There's parabola linen, but I don't want to spend my fragments on that. And then there's two other stores. Ah, strange catch. This is what I really wanted. Let's jump in with the clattery air now. Her father. She becomes more talkative when she has something to cut. Perhaps you can get her to say more about her father. Who was he, then? There's flensing, deboning, an orderly arranging of scales from large to small. This was the creature's favorite organ, she says, working briskly with tweezers and blade. Don't touch it. The purple bits are toxic. She only turns to personal matters when she's had a chance to rinse her fingers. I get my proficiency with metal from both sides of the family, she says, watching your expression closely. Then mother was a favorite with Mr. Iron. She says that they only worked together, that Mr. Iron sponsored her work and provided her with tools, sharper tools that do not bend so easily. So I progress this a little bit, which is good, but next I'm going to need the live specimen. Pretty sure I'm going to have to spend 500 echoes back at London, and hopefully I'll have access to it. It's like called the Labyrinth or something. How many secrets do I have? 9 secrets. Okay, with 9 secrets and cargo space, I am absolutely going to get a Sooth and Cooper box and an empty mirror catch box. You can also trade like stories, memories, visions, like so many different things. It's really wild. And then you can sell extraordinary implications. And you can sell a searing enigma to get 3 extraordinary implications. So that's a nice moneymaker. You can buy a secret, but that is expensive. Okay. Okay, let's get back to the story, actually. Like I said, I'm always so focused on the shops, but let's check out this story. I can't do anything there. Ugh, there's no good story. Guess I'll need coffee beans. A conundrum. When you will sit down to write the report, you will recall that it was written already. Who wrote it? The report records that it was already written when it was found. Who found it? The report describes another report which will indicate the name of the finder. Where is the other report? There's a footnote which describes when you will record its location. When will that be? When all is well and all manner of thing is well. Yeah, a REM is a strange place. You're not crazy. None of that made sense. I'll be back for the House of the Amber Sky. Alright, moving right along. Let's go south. I think I'll do a south swing. If I can resupply and find ways to get more echoes, I could go all the way to the southern border, but I think that's a bit of a stretch at this point in the game. There's quite a few interesting locations on this side of the map, and I like to figure out which ones are where early on. A REM is always in the corner, that is always true, but a bunch of these islands have different locations in different rounds. Ooh, I do not want him to find me. That is a dreadnought. He's quite powerful. Ooh. Oh, not that. Go the other way. Good. I think this is the Empire of Hands. Ooh, I got another secret. Nice. Great. He's not going to be able... that was close. Okay. We made it. Empire of Hands. This is a very odd place. Very entertaining. A stern reminder from the Admiralty. In the name and by the power of her enduring majesty, a trade embargo and quarantine in absolute perpetuity has hereby been declared on the Empire of Hands. No ship of London is to permit aboard a Pentecost ape without express and prior permission of the Admiralty. Any and all acts of spirophage are prohibited. They know what they did. Beware of stowaways. Keep a tight grip on your soul. Excerpt from Standard Naval Regulations, Volume 4. So, I guess we're not supposed to be here. The flea-ridden mayor. With the regulations in mind, it is a surprise to be greeted by a mere itchy monkey in a tattered yellow robe, barely walking with the help of a ceremonial staff. An official greeting. "Hello!" cries the mayor in the broken voice of one not yet used to human speech. "Come, make selves at home. All souls welcome in bountiful Empire of Hands." I don't know how to do that voice, but I'll figure it out. The crew shifts uncomfortably. They know the stories. It will take more than the natural beauty of this place to make most of them risk shore leave here. Your Empire of Hands monkey business. That quality. This port is all about different like qualities and mechanics, and I have always just raced through them. So we're gonna see what we can do to decipher them. I'm still guessing in a lot of cases. Okay, Port Stanton. A weak call for help. That's when I get Submarine. Shore leave. Yeah, let's see what this does. A hunting party. Monkey soldiers scour the jungle for fresh meat. The Empire has little of it, but the unsold monkeys are considered fair prey by their civilized, ensouled betters. So too are any humans who might disappear without too much trouble. Once back at court, both will be served up and heralded the finest venison, veal, chicken, and pork for a court that knows what it is supposed to like, but not what it actually tastes like. You hide in the bushes until the hunting party is gone and slip away undetected in the other direction. Got a few more fragments, which should keep building my secrets. As you keep collecting fragments, pretty sure they automatically convert into secrets. Alright, let's poke around shore. Did I do this already? I don't think I did. The parasynthetic the parasynthetic jungle holds many dangers. Step carefully. There is no authority beyond the fence. An aborted journey. The path through the jungle soon becomes dark and treacherous, the predatory eyes of desperate monkeys staring from behind every bush and tree. Exploring this island will have to wait for a more auspicious day. Alright, so I can't do anything more with that. I could check in with the mayor, which I'll do for fun. King of an empty castle. Oh, I see it just saved there. I think I made like one of those like they will remember this decisions by clicking on him because the Admiralty expressly forbids it. But I don't care. The story is too interesting. King of an empty castle. The flea-ridden mayor scratches himself on a chair made of crates, surrounded by boxes of long rotten trade goods. As a five-souled ape, he would be able to petition for membership of court. For now, the trade embargo has left him trapped on the outside, a three-souled overseer with no talent for order. This, like, Soul's economy here is really bizarre. In better times, being overseer of Port Stanton gave the incumbent their pick of visitors to the empire. Now it is as thankless a task as any to be found in the Neath. So I could sell my soul to him, but I don't want to do that. I can buy supplies from him. It's funny, there's nothing in the shops, but I can buy supplies from him. And I can buy fuel, but it's a bit more expensive. The mayor returns to pretending to work. Outside, a crowd of monkeys that has absolutely not been listening in scampers away. The Zeppelin. Intense work is underway across the bridge. Turned away. Two monkey guards wielding rifles and rusty bayonets block the bridge. This is not for your eyes, outsider. Avert them. Walk away. Walk faster. Good human. Yeah, they don't want me at the Zeppelin yet. Okay, so that's everything I can do here. But there's a lot more over here. This is going to be quite a bit of a reading. Usually I just blast through the menus here, but we're really going to get into the story this time. So I must get a sip of water and prepare myself. Alright. Sailing the Empire of Hands. Communal wooden boats offer free passage to all travelers willing to row between islands. A scouting trip, Sovereign Island. A wooden palace stretches across the whole island. Passage to it lit by a field of tiny glim buoys. The heart of the empire. Many boats circle the island, all keeping their distance. The one that gets closest is an extended rowboat, painted in yellows, whites, and reds. Four servant monkeys strain at the oars while its true passenger sits in comfort behind a gauze curtain. Just for a moment an eye catches yours, but only for a moment. It would not do for a high-souled ape to see something so beneath its notice. Today the sprawling palace is called the Wild-Wheeled Court. Tomorrow, who knows? The world of the Pentecost apes is one of the cruel whimsy, where stolen traditions last only as long as their amusement. So at some point I'll be able to gain access to the court, but I need a gift for the monkey emperor. Nothing else to do here, so back to the boat. The guards stare as you row away. It will take some effort to ingratiate yourself here. Perhaps if you could find something on one of the other islands. Alright, we'll keep going. We checked out that. Oh, there's four of them, that's right. The first one disappeared, so this is a scouting trip. The Ash is wow. If is- isthmus. The Ash Isthmus. That's as good as I'm getting. Neither man nor ape claims this volcanic remnant between islands. Haunted, they say. Ridiculous. Ugh, that word really threw me off. Of apes and monkeys. The trip offers a little time to think on the penties. Technically, they are monkeys rather than apes, but it is not tactful to remind them of this. To their high-souled faces, the accepted name is Pentecost apes. In private, though, the bloody monkeys is about as common. It is, one might say, an odd hominoid insult. That was confusing. Ash Isthmus. Got it. Black beaches give way to an oasis of gently glowing trees and the scent of rotting flowers. Enter the forest. Parasynthetic vegetation thrives in the empire of hands, fertile soil and cool humidity. Yeah, let's check it out. Into the woods. Wide natural paths run between clumps of trees, softly lit by a dim green glow and the occasional glimmer of false stars through the canopy. Only the cracking of leaves and the soothing sounds of water break the serenity of this volcano-forged paradise. All right. Hmm. Yeah. Um, yes, this will be entertaining. Relax in a hot spring. Steam and a hint of sulfur gently rise from a secluded natural pool flanked by trees and mushrooms. A moment for yourself. You slip out of your itchy clothes and into the welcoming caress of hot, deep water. The salts and sweats of sailing life melt away as you simply float bare and free. Above, false stars glimmer bright enough to be worth wishing on. All around, the glow of the trees casts ambient calm on the silent peace. How long has it been since you had a moment like this? Since London? Longer? So that heals a little bit of terror, which is nice. And I've explored a bit further. What am I thinking about? Let's think about my lover. Back in London. What is the likely lass doing right now? Are you on her mind like she is on yours? Oh, those nights in Wolfstack docks. The noise, the passion, the delightful filth. The hot water hugs you tight as you remember her touch. Your last words before departing. That half smile almost but not quite blossoming into completeness. How long will it be before you feel the touch of skin on skin once again, or wake to see her sleeping brow, always so furrowed, as soft and calm as the sea itself? Wait, what was that? Sounded like giggling? I do like how there's passion in this, but it's clean passion. It's just very romantic. Caught! A tiny blonde girl perches, watching on a rock. Her innocent grin is spiced with mischievous glee. She moves like a monkey, but she giggles like an imp at the look on your face at being caught, bathing in her hot spring, and the one that floods onto it as she scoops up your clothes. What do I do? Shipwrecked as a baby, raised by the empire of hands, she now plays between the worlds of apes and men, neither quite one nor entirely of the other. Demand that she puts those down at once, or a desperate swim? Put those down at once. The anger only makes it funnier. The monkey foundling sticks out her tongue, grins and scampers off into the forest on all fours, your stolen possessions in a leather bag slung over her back. Her giggling echoes from deep in the forest as you splash after her in your goosebumps. Chase the monkey foundling, or fly upon them, let them stare. Let's keep chasing her. Blanket. like like I blanked out the bad word. Blank it. You cannot return to the crew like this. Into the forest, the branches scrape against your skin. The damp mud squidges between your toes. There's no sign of the monkey foundling, but her tracks are easy to follow. A clearing, a forest clearing. The footprints lead here. She has not even attempted to hide them. It is as if she wants you to follow. Ouch! Your hand slaps to your stinging buttock. The little stone lands in the dirt as a familiar giggle comes from above. You look to see the monkey foundling dangling upside down from a branch by her legs, a blowpipe in hand, and bag just out of your reach, tantalizingly so. Taking a deep breath, you politely, very politely, request that she return your gosh darned clothes now. The monkey foundling listens and gives it some thought, tapping her blowpipe against her lips as she decides. Say please, she grins. Please. There, said it. Pretty please? Ugh, pretty please with an imaginary cherry on top. Pretty please? Pretty please. Pretty. And it goes on for this. Oh, I actually got something out of it. Usually, oops, sorry, let me fix my controller. I've never taken it all the way to the end. I was expecting it to be like an endless loop, but I can't believe there's actually a finish to that. So this is new for me. I've never read this. A gift from the monkey foundling. You appear to have pretty pleased her, and she decides you deserve a reward. She fishes in her bag and generously throws you a sock. A single solitary sock. She learns a few new swear words as she races off across the branches near doubled up with laughter. Okay, maybe not. Let's see, I could pursue the monkey foundling. Why not? Let's just keep rolling. A trap. Your feet step into the coiled rope just as the monkey foundling cuts loose the counterweight, and you feel yourself flying upside down into the trees. Of course she has traps. The wider empire has no shortage of would-be invaders, man and monkey alike. She sits back and enjoys the show as you flail around trying to get free, before apparently taking pity on you. Pity, however, turns out to be casually and without warning, cutting through the rope, dangling you in the air, and sending you falling back with a surprise thump to the muddy forest floor. It knocks the air out of your lungs, but you are otherwise unharmed. She pauses for a moment to make sure before her grin spreads back again, and she races off to continue the game. So my veils failed, and I wonder what would have happened if I had succeeded. I would have had to make sure I increased my veils quite a bit before this first visit, which would be tricky, but not impossible. Alright, let's see if the chase continues. We're going to go a little faster through this. Oh, but it's still so interesting. The monkey foundling slides down a vine in front of you. She sticks out her tongue and scampers through a break in the trees. A marsh of terrible stench. It is a place that skunks would think twice of entering, if the Empire of Hands had such creatures. The monkey foundling, of course, is unconcerned, as much at home here as high in the branches or running the forest paths. She almost dances effortlessly across a thin fallen tree that crosses the mire, surrounded by the foulest bubbling mud that has ever invaded your nostrils. She balances in the middle, daring you to try to follow. So now my quest for dignity is at 12. I wonder if that... This never happened. Okay, she wants to play, you'll play. Let's give it another go. Oh, we need high iron. That's another interesting option. Let's give it a try. Still failed. And I have a 62. That should be a high percentage. I should be winning this. Or succeeding. Alright, I'm out of patience with this. I am... We'll just go a little further. Got an ambush. Help the monkey fondling. Rock beats 8. Huh. Wait, what happened? You reach for a stone and bring it crashing down on the distracted ape's head. Its skull cracks, dampness spreading. It collapses to the ground hard. It is not a child's face that looks up at you. Still you reach a hand down. The monkey foundling just stares at it for a moment, something human returning as the adrenaline fades. For a moment it almost looks as though she will take it. But no, she leaps up on her own, bounding away towards the dark safety of her jungle, and then stops, hesitates. She looks back and tilts her head, beckoning you to follow. It is a look that suggests the game is over, but perhaps not yet quite finished. Interesting. So now I'm at 50 on this quality. A small hut in the middle of the forest. Is this where the monkey foundling lives? Why would she lead you here of all places? Playmate of the monkey foundling. The monkey foundling herself is nowhere to be seen, but she has left you something. It sits outside the hut, carefully placed by a large hat face drawn in the black sand. A little prize for being such a good sport. Your clothes, however, are nowhere to be seen. Of course, as the monkey part of her would no doubt demand, where would the fun be? Oh God, let's try that again. Your clothes, however, are nowhere to be seen. Of course, as the monkey part of her would no doubt demand, where would the fun be in that? Ooh, I got an outlandish artifact. Yeah, I can convert them into heirlooms, but not until I have a bunch of other things. Alright, I guess that's fine. Well, there's no avoiding this any longer. An out-of-uniform experience. The crew reacts with the expected amount of sympathy to your naked return, which is to say, exactly none. By the time you board the ship, every last crew member is on hand to see and cheer, with more than a couple letting off flares as impromptu fireworks. It is many, many days before the needling case ceases, and you are able to give an order without first scouring it for innuendo. On the plus side, it does boost at least the rest of the ship's mood while it lasts, and you have a new treasure for your collection. You have had worse days. Lose a bunch of terror, that's nice. I'm still crushing it with terror. And, alright. There's still more exploration, and it's important to do all of this. It's really quite useful. A scouting trip. Fountainhead Island. Ancient secret Let me get some water first. Told you, a lot of reading here. Ancient secrets peek out of the trees. Any may visit, but few penties ever bother to make the pilgrimage. A young ancient empire. The empire of hands is hardly as old as they pretend, but mimicry and theft infuses their whole culture. If the penties have come to think that rulers should be buried in ancient temples, then it is ancient temples they will build. It would hardly be the first time their attempts to mirror humanity have entirely missed the point. Very interesting. Oh, I like this section, right. Swiftly growing vegetation keeps a thick forest wrapped around variably ancient ruins. Even the yet-to-be-plundered ones are heavily scarred with crowbar marks. A temple in the forest. In a clearing of parasynthetic trees looms an imposing structure of wood and stone. the vault of the first emperor. It stretches through the forest in a mix of stone and wood, its style at the mercy of the Pentecost apes, current whimsies and inspirations. It would take a dedicated team to break in and uncover its secrets. Perhaps you will bring one here later. Hmm. So that's all it does, right? Right, because there's something further later on. And I can't do this yet. An investigation for another day. Perhaps there's someone in fallen London who might be able to help you get to the treasures of this island. Yes, indeed. We will return to London for them. One more. A scouting trip to Hearthsake Island. A thin pillar of greasy yet appetizing smoke rises from the only human settlement in the Empire. The Blumenbach Quarantine. The Admiralty has never stated precisely why it seeks to keep the Empire confined. Though most opposition to it fades, once said opposers actually encounter a Pentecost ape. They have been easy to corral, however, though they do not lack wit. There is not an inventive bone in their hairy bodies, and no amount of stolen humanity has taught them the art of creating engines. The Lost Treasure Hunter. The survivors of a pirate expedition have stolen this land, where apes are unwelcome except as an entree. So there's a lost treasure hunter, and I can approach the village. Really want to see the lost treasure hunter. He squints at a map, muttering incoherently. North for each city the bats have brought down. He wipes his brow. Have you seen a big X on the ground by any chance? I got these 4 map pieces that got me this far and said X would mark the spot, but I can't find an X anywhere. He looks at the map sadly. It should be here, it says. Now where am I supposed to dig? He is too busy to talk right now, but adds that he will be in the village later if you want to trade adventuring supplies. Don't try the meatballs, he warns, getting back to his search. You just don't want to do that. Okay, I'll approach the village now. Greasy smoke and guiltily tempting aromas rise from a collection of huts around a long-beached pirate ship and a field of pointedly impaled monkeys. Explosion almost takes off your head. Sorry about that, booms the boisterous pirate, lowering a smoking blunderbuss as bits of shattered tree rain down. New arrival, are we? Well, if you haven't got a tail, you're all right by me. Really racist against those monkeys. It was not madness that drove these pirates to cannibalism, but years of being shipwrecked without the comfort of meat. After a while, any meat would do. My first cannibals, I think. They will not be the last. There's an uncomfortable amount of cannibalism in this game. But I get it. It makes sense. It's clever. Return to the boat. They seem a friendly sort and are shocked at the idea that they would ever be such poor hosts as to eat a guest. But then they have no shortage of supplies. Gross. Okay, back to Port Stanton. Very good. And now I can do this. This is why you have to go through all the stories. Explorations complete. Perhaps you can use the information you've gleaned. Prepare a comprehensive port report. Few have reason to brave the waters this far east, especially with the trade embargo. The Admiralty will pay especially well for up-to-date intelligence. The island of the Empire. All of them warrant further attention. For now, though, it would be best to see if your initial discoveries can whet the interest of anyone back home. Very good. This is a comprehensive report. I got some fragments, and it's going to sell nicely when I go back. Look for a rowboat. Huh. I'm just curious about this. They all appear to be in use. You make a note to return later. Until then, business awaits elsewhere. If only the monkeys had proper ships, their island would have proper docks capable of handling yours. Oh well, I will need the help of someone. Okay, yeah, I know who that is. We'll get there. Shops? Nothing. Odd. What is this one's deal? Oh, right, she likes searing enigmas. I can't do anything until I have searing enigmas. Let's see, she gives plus 6 mirrors, plus 3 pages, and this first officer, 6 mirrors, 3 veils. I guess my veils are higher than my pages, so I could switch them. And you can progress the stories no matter which direction you're going. Just puts my pages up a touch and my veils down a touch. What else do I have? Plus 1 iron there. Plus 8 veils. Plus 6 hearts and 6 iron. Okay, cool. Let's talk to my Blemigan. Entertain your Blemigan. Your Blemigan Gallivanter. It has made its home on a shelf in your cabin. It has built a nest from loose journal pages, the engineer's scarf, and possibly pilfered map. Entertain your Blemigan. You can see the indentation of a porthole on the rim of its cap. It must have been pressing its face to the windows again. Is it bored? A ticklish thing. The Blemigan flails and squirms as you tickle it. Its high-pitched warble is almost certainly giggly. When you stop to check that you're not actually hurting it, it wraps its tendrils around your fingers and pulls your hand back. Apparently, it is enjoying itself. I don't know if that does anything, but I'm always trying to domesticate my Blemigan, and I just don't know how to do it, but it happens sometimes. Alright, alright. Whew, that was a lot of reading. Let's hit the waters. I will head further south, and then I'll turn back towards Demo Island. Demu? I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, this place is creepy. Ah, there's the port. Scuttering reaches. Savior's Rock. The sound of their constant motion is like pebbles on a beach. A lot of spiders on this island. The scuttering reaches. Intricate webs stretch into a darkness where the shadows are never entirely still. Gossamer threads stolen by the breeze tickle the goosebumps on your skin. 1,000 unseen eyes promise 1,000,000 more. So I need candles for this piece, but I just wanted you to see it. Never really gone through this, so I don't know where it ends up. But I'll have to check it out at some point. Ooh, utilizing this. Let's check this out. Preparing for the Festival of Silk. The glumness of the nativity is broken by the reds and golds of freshly hung banners. Spider-worshipping weavers and widows guide the traders in readying their celebration of gratitude to the generous neighbors that silently watch over them from the shadows. Assist with festival preparations. The assistance of an experienced captain and crew will hardly be turned down. Yeah, let's see what this does. Quiet murmurs of appreciation. The traders of the Nativity have little practice showing appreciation, but at least put in an effort. In particular, they not entirely accidentally let slip the secret of the Accord of Grace, a hospitality granted visitors by the generous neighbors of whom they will speak no ill. They do, however, hint that this only applies to travelers arriving through the port. Those unlucky enough to run aground on the rocks can consider themselves, but no, no, a sorrow spider might hear something they would of course never say. Yeah, these guys are creepy. I'm supposed to become friendlier with them, and in order to do that, I'll have to come back another day. A haunted doctor. He is free. And I can trade supplies for silk, but I don't need silk. Ah, the trinkets is good. Why can't I get a port report? I need wine for a port report here? That's odd. Let's get the doctor first. Please, I must leave this terrible place. The sorrow spiders will not take me back. Please. Welcome aboard. The haunted doctor hurries aboard the ship. He pauses, looking at the cursed wasteland of Saviour's Rock. The lady said I would never be able to get it back once it was thrown away. I see she was. Never mind. Is this my cabin? Yes, it is more than I deserve. Alright, we got the haunted doctor, but there ain't no way he's replacing my clattery air, so no need to change up officers. Let's see what else I can do here. The delivery of trinkets. This is nice. An almost entirely legitimate silk trader urgently requests your help with a delivery to fallen London. Yeah, sure. Why not? Just trinkets, confirms the man holding out the box. From inside comes a slight cracking sound, a hiss, a scratch that hints at nail on wood. Trinkets, he repeats, not meeting your eyes. Right. Report, no, and I'm not trading supplies. Shops, I think they actually have, yeah, fuel and supplies. I could marathon this, but it's getting a bit late. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up here, and I am going to keep heading south because I have enough echoes, and I'll get a lot of echoes just for exploring. And I'm doing really good right now. The more places I hit, the more echoes I'll get when I go back to London, and I really want to hit Port Carnelian to start the mission for the submarine. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Next week, we will keep traveling along the edge of this entire map. So just to show you, oof, do have quite a bit. See, it's going to be a journey, and there's a lot of story development early on. Later on, we'll be pinging all across the map, but for now, it just takes some development. So I'm going to go all the way down here. There's interesting stuff there, then along the southern port, and then back north. I should be able to resupply enough and have enough money to keep myself resupplied. But if I run into a pinch, I'll just make a beeline back to London. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next week.